What actually makes Donald Trump so unattractive? Welcome back to LookLogix, everyone. Today we will be assessing Donald Trump's facial harmony. So on faceiq Labs, with his front and side profile mapped out with the landmarks right here, and for his side, he gets an overall score of 3.49 out of 10. It is the bottom 10%, about 1 in 10 people on the bad side. It is a below average harmony, and his individual profiles for his front get 3.74 out of 10, and then for his side 3.10 out of 10. So really low scores for Trump, and this is not him in his prime. I'll just give you the details off the bat. For his prime, he was about a 4.9 to a 5.4 max. But with him currently, this is pretty recent, within the last about 8 years, I would say. It's not just the extra visceral and subcutaneous fat on his face. It's actually his objective harmony measurements, and let's start with them on the front ratios. So on faceiq Labs, it gives us an entire breakdown with the visual guides, and his lower score is a 0 out of 10. Same with the deviation of IAA, which is the ipsilateral alar angle, and the JFA jaw frontal angle. So these two are actually 0. This is the lowest score possible for a person, and you can see for his jaw frontal angle how it's so off. It's because of its angle being so low. But remember, this is from the sagginess of his cheeks. Right here is lower fat, and his jaw actually does angle up slightly. So I guess we could mark that a little higher. It's just kind of from the landmarking. His highest scores for his front profile is his nose tip position is ideal. Like most people, it's pretty common. His ipsilateral alar angle by itself is also ideal. His chin to philtrum ratio is also ideal, 10 out of 10. His neck width is ideal, you can see, compared to this, but once he leans out, you can really see what the truth would be. And moving on, we have his middle third is a 6.44 out of 10, so it's a little off balance. You can see his forehead's quite large compared to his hairline, and then his middle third is 28.9% of the face, and then his lower third is 33.3%. So a little bit uneven. His bigonial width, which is the side here, the width, is a 6.39 out of 10. So also out of the ideal range. And he also has thinning hair. And Trump tans a lot. He does little things with his teeth. Of course, he has to present and be this little jester president for the United States of America Corporation. But overall, just assessing his facial attractiveness, this is what we get for the front profile. By the way, guys, if you'd like to use faceiq Labs and try it for yourself, put your face in it, see what you score on your harmony, you can use my code for 20% off, LookLogix. If you want to try it, I'll put a link in the description and the pinned comment. And yeah, so let's move on to the side ratios. So for the side, Trump gets a 0.25 out of 10 for his lowest score, which is his facial convexity, his nasion. You can see how flat this is. I mean, look at that. There's a slight recession, and I think it'll actually show you right here. It is a 4.08 out of 10 for his recession relative to Frankfurt plane. So you can see how flat this is. His lower lip is pushing back. It's not forward. And you can see all the sagging subcutaneous fat, which is the top layer. Let's see what other scores we have. His second to lowest is his brow ridge inclination angle. Then his nasofacial angle, nasal frontal, and nasomental. So a lot of things going on with his nose to lip area, which is off, and you can just see it looks a little like The Simpsons. Moving on, for his highest scores with his side profile, he does actually hit a few at the ideal range. They're quite common ones, but nevertheless, gonian to mouth line is a 10 out of 10. His mentolabial angle is a 10 out of 10. Ramus to mandible ratio is optimal. Facial depth to height ratio is also optimal. So these are some big scores, and these are all objective harmony measurements of Trump's face, of his bone structure using geometry and angles. Okay? So this is the objective measurement. Someone who has a recessed jaw, lower jaw, is obviously going to be less attractive than someone who has a nice, well-developed, wide, forward protruding jaw, right? Not something that's over forward protruding, then that would be unideal on the other side, on the other range, on the other way of this marker, right? So this is what the face rating is about. This isn't factoring his status, his wealth, his height, his voice, and other things like that, especially not the phenotype. You do have to put it in the options right here, male, and then white/Caucasian, so you can get the accurate results, because let's say like a dark-skinned person, different genetic traits, so the lips are going to be different. There are different ideals for maybe a dark-skinned person versus a light-skinned, and that's why we have to put this in the options, so make sure this is accurate if you do try the app. But overall, that's what we have for his side and front ratio, and that's why Donald Trump gets a 3.49 out of 10, which is the bottom 10%. You can see on the harmony score right here. Once again, if you guys would like to try the app for yourself, you can use the code LookLogix for 20% off any plan. I'll put it in the description and the pinned comment. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video.